All right. It's the CARESNONE Be Dope Podcast. I am your host, Chris CARESNONE, and I'm with my co-host, Derek Fisher. What's up, baby?
What's up, baby? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Let me turn my phone off. I'm
Yeah,
all
I'm
right.
about to
Well,
say,
you know,
shit.
I'm fucking rude with it. Why I'm so rude?
You're a rude boy.
What's going on, man?
Man, just kicking back 4 flats on the Cadillac. Just, work as usual, man.
What about this weather, though?
This weather is a flock of birds put together.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that because we don't live in a place that's always hot that we appreciate even more?
Yes. Yeah, wow, it's funny how conversation starts. But I was just talking to one of my friends who got back from San Francisco, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the same weather out there all the time. And her friend starting to hate it after 8 years of being there because it's like you literally are dressing for the same type of weather at all times.
Oh, so she's saying she don't like the sun.
Yeah, it's like just too much of it.
Now, so I guess you know what? That talk about a positive mindset. So, albeit we have to deal with some harsher realities with the cold and, you know, personally, I'm a fall guy.
Yeah.
I like the fall. What you like?
I think I'm a full-on summer guy, I think.
You want
but
it hot?
I'm kind of I like it all, but not dead-ass winter.
Yeah, fuck that
Winter
January
can go to
15th.
hell and warm up a little bit.
I don't fucking no winter.
No, I'll fuck with that, but everything else is cool.
Well, the first few, like, snows when it's light and it's nice, still, you know, that ain't the end of the world.
Right.
But
nah,
that
fluffy snow.
That fluffy, yeah, but that
cute,
slush
whatever.
cold.
Nah, that freeze over.
Yeah.
Shit that should be going
Where
for like
niggas-
a month strong, like February.
What was this shit in Texas?
They had
Some kind of something.
they
Niggas
had
was
a
dying.
winter solstice.
It was like
that
60
day.
degrees. Niggas was dying. I know shit. No, but yeah, that's crazy. Like, cause they're not used to that.
Nah, they ain't ready for that type of weather.
Let me go ahead.
They
and
weren't
do
ready
it.
for that at all. So shout out to them though. Hopefully they didn't.
Yeah, have you heard
too
anything
hard.
about? I haven't heard shit. So
I
I'm
haven't heard
sit-
since earlier.
So I'm
what,
guessing they
last
fix
month,
shit
actually.
up.
You know how that goes, but
Can we talk about the dispensaries, nigga?
the dispensary's been going ham, man. They've been out here.
Nigga, there's
You remember when we went to Seattle and I was like, bro, they should have this shit in Chicago already.
Right,
how
right.
they set it up so well.
what year was that?
They had to be what? Damn, 16,
16 was like one of the best.
17.
Was it 17? Because 16 might have been the best year of all time.
Yeah, we was killing it 16.
16 was savage. That was limitless.
Yeah.
Cubs World Series for me personally.
Yeah, but so I think it was around 2017. But yeah, they've been popping, bro.
I know that when you go in there, now ours isn't kind of like Seattle's yet, where you can go in and like see the shit.
Nah, it's
Remember,
not like Target.
Ours is everything's still behind
Yeah.
the doors or whatever. But it's and that motherfucker, I know they make because it's called Zen Leaf is the brand.
Mm.
You've seen that company?
Zen Leaf.
It's called Zen Leaf.
I probably if I see the.
But they
logo.
popping up, so there's got to be big money.
You mean
in it.
the
dispensaries.
The dispensary card.
And this
creams?
specifically?
Oh
this
no, I
specific
haven't
brand.
seen that then.
Yeah,
The
it's
one-
called Zen Leaf.
Zen Leaf.
Yep.
Okay.
There's got to be. Hey Google, how many Zen locations are there? Okay, Google, how many Zen locations are there?
17. On the website carrywilsoninsurance.com, they say, no two VINs are the same. All cars and light trucks built after 1981.
That's some bullshit.
It is.
Hey Google, shut your ass. Hey Google, stop. Yeah, there's a bunch though, nigga.
Yeah,
fuck
the
all
one
this
that's been blowing up by me is Sunnyside Dispensary. They got those going crazy right now in the city.
And how close is it to you?
That's like a 5-minute bike ride for me.
Oh, okay, so it's
Yeah,
cool.
it's all over the place now though. So
They still.
we out here.
So you think there's any need for those like underworld?
Well, it's still some regulations that I don't know about because it's still all cash with dispensaries. So it's something that is legally can't.
Wait, not they figured it out over here.
What is it? It's
I don't know what they
it's
doing.
Credit. Debit
Definitely-
you can do, but not credit.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, you can do card, but you can't do credit.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
No, it's all cash. So all,
Okay.
debitable cash. But yeah, so it's still some legality with that to where you can't really
See, when I think of cash, I think of actual like physical paper.
credit. I mean, yeah, but credit is the opposite of cash. That shit is debt.
No. I'm saying, but like when I say the word, I would say debit or credit, but you use debit and
As
cash.
cash, as the
Yeah,
same thing.
which and it is the same thing. Because if I was like, man, I need some cash, would you be like you'd be like, oh, here's my debit? Or would you assume that I was talking about physical paper?
Well, I would assume you're talking about physical paper, but I know that's still cash that you can have access to.
Right.
Without going into debt. Which
is actually a great segue.
It is.
Because about like understanding money and financial literacy. And what think we might have hinted on this last time about like just what you're not taught. I was talking to my grandmother last night and she's financially responsible. Oh, yeah, you feel like I'm thinking bullshit. That's why I need a bigger bowl, my little ass bowl. But so I think she's like fiscally responsible, pays her bills shit on time, shit like that. But she still doesn't understand, and neither did I really. And I'm just barely learning, like how to make your money work for you. So I'm trying to understand, and I'm starting to understand like of like what it really means. Because you know what? Would you argue that it was growing up, or at least maybe because your mom's a little different, but when I was growing up, money was almost a bad thing. Like it was the root of all evil. Like you heard that, but you never really heard that from people who had money. You only heard that from people who were poor.
Mm-hmm. Money is the root of all evil.
Right? Yeah, and it's almost like a stigma of if you got money, you're probably a shitty person.
Yeah, that's kind of the haves and the have-nots, though. You kind of put your nose up at people who have money anyway. And it's the same way of the other round. You put your nose down at people who don't have, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I know. I'm trying not to do that, though.
I'm trying not to do that, too. I feel you.
Because... And it's another thing, like, a lot of times it's perception, too, right? Like, so, for instance, whenever you got to show some shit off, like if you got to tell people how much you got, then chances are you don't got what you believe what you should have.
God damn, I was just saying this the other day.
What?
The same exact shit. Like, you're so right.
Right. So it's like, you wouldn't be like...
Like, all of your value is on you at that time. You're showing me all your value. If you can show me your values or your valuables, I should say, then you ain't got that many. If it can fit on your person,
right? You mean like fiscally?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you ain't really that shit. The real value is in fucking your real assets and shit like that. You know, I'm gonna say some baby boy shit, stocks and bonds, shit that appreciates with value. Little dumb motherfuckers.
Or some 8 Mile.
What?
You need to get stocks and bonds. What you need to do is diversify your stocks and bonds. Like, it almost sounds corny to say that, but that's like some real shit, though.
Collateral ain't no bitch, and we already talked about being a consumer, so we're just elevating the conversation on digital financial literacy, you know?
Right.
From consumer to, like, you know, ownership to assets, you know what I'm saying? It's just another level to it. And seeing how you can work your money, oh, my God.
Bro, and I'm starting to it's like
it's a lovely game.
I'm starting to understand. So, like, you know, I'm trying to get official with my shit, right? You know what I'm saying? And I've actually been doing a lot of studying on branding and marketing,
That's
you know,
dope.
because I want to understand it. You know what I'm saying? And especially since I'm doing it all myself at the moment. Eventually, I'm going to scale that shit out, but at the moment, I'm trying to figure this shit out, and I'm learning a lot about business. And I didn't go to a business school, so I'm wondering had I gone to the business school, how much better prepared I would be for this moment. You know what I'm saying?
Are you I don't know if you're getting that. Do you think you can still benefit from something like that? Even harder since you have an actual business? Could you?
Yeah. The problem is that to really go to business school is gonna take some time and some real committed effort. And it's like I've already kind of committed. What you know what I'm saying? Like if I go to business. Now, essentially, yeah, but I got to make sure to stay on top of all my shit, and I just know that that'd be. Not saying you can't do it, but I got to make sure.
I mean, it's just kind of the way I was looking at it, man. I love conversation.
What, like
with
a
you,
business
bro.
school?
Well, I was thinking about something more so on the production side of shit because that's what my business is based on. But anyway, I was saying like it's kind of cool because you can even as a business owner, if you were to go to school for something that's geared towards ownership in the business, you can use that as a tax write-off as well. You know what I mean?
Like using that training towards it?
Because you already have it as an LLC.
No, I'm almost at LLC.
Almost. Well, once you get there, you can have that be something as a business expense, like education expense for your business to grow it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's related to that. So it's always, and so if you wanted that type of, if you felt like you were at a point where that form of education would only help your business, like really structure your shit and have you be the one who knows the shit, it would be an investment in yourself, if anything.
100%. And it does not hurt you to get more knowledge on any goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that it's a bad idea. I'm just saying for me to go to like an actual school, business school.
Mm-hmm. Cares none on the back.
Yeah, CARESNONE Business School. I'm just saying it's going to take some real commitment.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I was sure, you know, and again, I can sit here and make an excuse, be dope, right? But got to make sure I stay on top of everything, you know. But what I'm definitely going to do is pay for courses, like specific courses online, like so that kind of knowledge. But as far as going to a class or maybe even doing a course online, maybe, but definitely like online courses, that I look as an investment. Easy, and it's an easy one too because it's cheap.
Hell yeah.
Even like that Adobe one that we did.
Yeah. When
you think about how much it costs, $30 for how much I learned, like that, it's $30.
Right.
How much I've jagged $30 last weekend on just dumb food. You know what I'm saying?
All the time. Easy.
So go ahead.
Easy.
So I'm just learning like and now I'm doing the behind the scenes of the business, and I'm trying to learn the behind the scenes because it's so much. And I think that's what a lot of people, at least I didn't notice it. It's so much behind the scenes shit. What you call it, back of the house?
Back of house.
Yeah, try to get your back of the house right,
Yeah.
and because what people see like this polishedness, and they see the system that works, but like the system underneath, and it takes time to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So the thing I've been struggling with, and when I say struggle, it's just something that's been on my mind. So it's not really a struggle. Is trying to present the CARESNONE brand as this polished thing that's already fucking years ahead of its time, which I don't think is a bad thing to reach for. But I think what I want to change the dynamic of what I'm trying to do, and then bring people in on the process of growing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think so here's my question. If someone sees it, I think the people who are supporting me now are people who like know something of me. So I want to grow that experience because they see it from the beginning, as opposed to someone who might see it now, where I think that I got it seen polished with the website and everything, where it seems like it's this thing, but it's not nearly where it comes off. And I'm okay with saying that.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
Of course.
Because I'm a new fucking business owner that just started. You know what I'm saying? So it's trying to be already dope before it's like, nah, you're going to get your lumps and your bruises and you're going to lose your money like everything else.
It's very interesting being new in it because you have to be cool in it to, you know, get your products good and whatnot, but you also are new, so you're going to take your bumps. So it's like, how do you
finagle
that shit together?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, I'm cool, but I'm fucking up. I'm cool.
Yeah, so I guess the way maybe try to aim, the way I've been doing it, so I'm just using me for an example, how I've been trying to, is just daily now, it's finding new ways to keep it popping, whether in branding this day or one day marketing this day or one day just the production this day. Now, eventually, we were talking about scaling your shit up. You're going to want teams to do that. Someone who's great at marketing, get them involved. Or someone who's great at branding, and someone who's great at this. Because right now, I'm dabbling in all of it as somebody who's never done any of it. So, but... And
that's so lovely, man. You're getting to see what you would like to do and what you wouldn't like to do either within the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then I can hire the niggas who would compliment me, and I can compliment them, you know, kind of thing. But here's the good thing, is that knowing that I have no fuck idea really what I'm doing other than what I've learned, so no formal training in it, and the fact that I just started, and I feel like I've done fairly well and relatively quick. So it's just like, man, if you just stay committed,
you can get that shit popping with just your knowledge.
Because I can argue that it's already popping.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like, who was I talking to last night? I think it was my grandma. I forgot who it was. But like if I stopped talking about it, if I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm good on it. Like, what if I was just like, what if tomorrow, Derek? I'm like, nah, you know what? I don't want to do it no more. What would you think? What would be your first thought?
Shit, it's a wrap. It's Chris gone.
He cares that. He said, "Fuck it."
Like
would you want to? Would you say something, or would you be like, "What?"
Something.
Would you think I was fucking up? Right?
I would think you were fucked up. Like something happened.
Right.
Yeah, for you to get this stuff stopping.
And why would you say that? Is because you feel a passion from it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's you. It's yours. It's what you are. It's who you. It's more than just a brand. It's your personality involved in it.
And now who was I was talking to somebody, but now, and I think you and I talked about this. It feels like it's a reflection of me, but it's its own thing though. But I'm just the catalyst that grows. We were talking about it's like a separate entity.
Yeah, it is.
And I almost, and here's what's crazy. I almost give a fuck about that more than I give a fuck about me.
Because like we said, by law, a business is a person.
But it kind of feels like one. So when you first said that, I was like, well, no, like, oh, no, not no, but like that's kind of different because it's not an actual person. It's a thing that someone's created.
But by law, what we consider a person.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about what my thoughts were. But now having a business, it feels like something you want to fucking take care of and treat it like a human. It feels that way.
Yeah.
Like I want to.
That's why it's mind blowing.
It's crazy.
Like, create shit. Yeah.
Because like
we literally created like a digital person.
And that's for sure. And now like my spare time, here's how I know I found a like now I think I figured it out like of all these years is because on my spare time I like watching things that would improve the brand.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because if it's a reflection of me, does that mean I'm just always watching shit to improve me? So you know what I'm saying? It's like kind of the same thing, but it also feels different. So it's like, well, I got to continue to be
an interesting thing because it's you, but it's your created you version of you. It's in like a 2.0 or some shit.
But I would argue that if people see me slacking, and if I'm not like openly honest about it, if there's any kind of, how about this better way to say it, if there's any non-authenticity, if people start noticing that it's not authentic, I think that would be catastrophic to the brand.
Absolutely.
So like so that's why if I was to stop, it would make sense why it would be nothing because that your whole concept is to keep going and you're going to just, you going to stop?
I mean. Yeah, you can't. Like, if you
I
stop,
literally cannot do it.
You stop. That's what I'm saying. Something happened.
right. So you would have to hit me with some like, hey, bro, you good?
Yeah, that's what it would be.
Like,
that would be the first word. You good? Like, swear to God.
like, nigga, what happened?
Swear to God.
Yeah, because same thing with you. If you was like, you know what, man, I ain't fucking with Pre-CA no more, man. I'm like, I would think, what the fuck happened?
What happened to your life? Who broke your heart?
And what if I was like, nah, I'm just good. Nah, I just don't want to do this shit no more. I'm good. I'd rather play 2K.
Oh man,
that would
you
be
can't
super
go back, man. You can't. That's you. Like if something had to happen.
Yeah, and understanding branding. Let's talk about branding for a second.
It's an interesting concept.
All right, so I want to show an ad. I want to talk about an ad. This is my first official ad. You're gonna be getting more of these. The CARESNONE, the CARESNONE.com, or CARESNONE.com. Go check it out. Dope products. You can check that. You can find all my Instagrams, my TikTok, all that. CARESNONE.com. Give it a shot.
And for me, you can find me at PCA Productions, prettycoolapesproductions.com. All of my information is on there as well. You can find me on Instagram. Find out about my products. I have some new apparel coming out shortly.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fire. It's a vibe, baby. Yeah.
And so, like, someone asked me recently, was like, you know what, can you give me any
Shout out to
tips?
branding. Thank you for the sweatshirt.
Yeah, man, fucking dope.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Somebody hit me up and said, hey, man, can you give me any pointers about how to start my own brand? Which was, holy fuck, that felt good.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody came to me for that advice, right? I was like, all right. And as he was buying something, so and like really wanted, and you know me, I'm cool. I ain't no big one up, So I'm like, so I helped him out. So I gave him a nice long fucking explanation of what I think. So I said, to me, how to start a brand, and I didn't realize I was creating CARESNONE for the whole time before I even considered it a brand. Because it's just an essence of who I was when I first, and it's just an attestment to who I am. I've been building that brand since since the beginning of time.
Exactly.
But I would say, but he wants to do it specifically for workout gear, whereas CARESNONE do you think branding's different when you're talking about like a person's brand versus like a product brand?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's why you put your whole into it. You know what I mean?
Because it's a personal brand?
Yeah, it's a personalized brand. This is a lifestyle brand. This is a lifestyle vision type of brand. It has its components that are motivational, and it serves its purpose to be dope.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's more of a lifestyle brand, whereas that it seemed like I wanted to start a business product. And it could have been his passion, you know what I mean?
Right.
It could have been that too, but it seemed like.
And I think
from the way
he
you
definitely had a
presented
passion for working out. So I think it's a thing. But so my advice to him was, what you want to do, at least what I did, is you want to tell a story, or you want to find something to talk about, whatever it's in yours is working out. So you want to tell a story, like, why should your shit be dope? You know, like, tell me about what is your meaning? And until you figure that out, it's going to be hard to brand something. You got to have like a real, because I know here's what happens. I bet you a lot of people come up with clothes. You know, I like cool T-shirts. I want to make cool designs. Let me just do something, right? So they wake up one morning and say, I'm going to get to this. But then they don't really have an identity.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you need to define the identity. What makes your gym, what's the identity of your gym, or what you're trying to do, you know?
Yeah.
So that was my advice, is to get to his identity. What would you say?
I guess I got a point like that in my life where I didn't know. I kind of just started off as a clean slate, even a couple of years ago, probably. And I just went from ground up. I just kind of went back to the basics of whatever I am or whatever interests me, I guess you can say, and kind of just went with that and delved into a lot of different shit, and then kind of came around and created my own structure. So I didn't really know at the beginning like what that was, but it kind of turned out to be pretty cool apes. You know what I mean? So maybe he's going through that process. That's also an option, maybe. Maybe he doesn't know, he's just trying to hit the ground running with the different options and shit like that. But I think what you're trying to tell him, as far as like having a brand, like with the meaning behind it and emotion behind it and a feeling behind it, I feel like that can probably take some time, or discovery, like how you had to discover that this wasn't something that you just came up with and said, this is what I want to start. No, you know, like CARESNONE's been in the making for over, 20 years?
Right. At least, I would say a close to 20.
Right. So it's kind of hard to, I understand the aspect in which you're trying to tell them, like how that's kind of hard.
Yeah, like I said, and then it's going to take, and listen, I still have a feeling, if I'm being honest, it's going to take, I'll probably mold what my meaning of it is over time. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because, you know, and the whole thing behind it is we're going to do what you want to do in the best version of yourself. That's like the ultimate.
Say it again.
Like, to me, CARESNONE, like I've molded it to do whatever you want to do when you want to do it. Who gives a fuck about the outside reasons as to why? If you want to do something, go do it. With the intention to do the right thing, though. I would argue that my shit is on the positive end, but I guess somebody can wear it and say whatever the fuck they want. That's the whole idea. Is I want to be an asshole. Fuck you. CARESNONE. You know.
Yeah.
Personally, I like nice motherfuckers, good human beings, but that's the whole idea. It's like, if you want to be an asshole, CARESNONE. But to me, the be dope part kind of kills that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think an asshole would want to wear something that says be dope. You know.
That is interesting, though. I was thinking just if I could sidebar with you on that one. So let's say CARESNONE, let's say when it gets really, really big, we're talking like some of the top brands in the world type of shit, right?
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay. When it gets that big, though, it takes on a life of its own, meaning that it can come into another meaning. What if it came into a meaning so strong as to like equate with like Hitler or something like that?
See, that would be fucked up, right?
What if your shit got that
right?
strong?
So,
because at that point, like the shit, you know, brands sometimes they get so big, or symbols or anything like that, they get so big in other ways that you don't even know the origins of it sometimes.
Well, so Steve brought that to my attention. He goes, you know, what if Trump was wearing your shit?
Oh yeah.
You know, and let's say Trump put on a CARESNONE, and obviously I'd probably make a lot of money off of that.
Oh yeah, you go crazy.
But he was like, would you do it? And I'm like, and that's a great question. So personally, I don't want to come up like that. I don't desire to have my name attached to that energy personally. I just, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like even if maybe there's some shit with society, and I don't know, whatever your feelings are, whether you love Trump or not, there's a rough energy connected to him, good or bad. It's and I just don't want my shit attached to that.
Okay, now let's interject that because we've been talking about business, and let's talk about the financial side of that.
That's what he brought up. Like, so you're gonna be giving up a lot of money if you didn't want the situation.
Especially if you're gonna have it so big to where it's gonna be that big, it's most likely gonna be a company that's involved in shares and shit like that. So people who are just like that are gonna be getting a percentage of your money anyway if it goes public.
Good point. So you can't even decide.
You can do that all you want, but they're still getting money from you too.
So you're saying,
So-
so you would say let Trump rock it?
You're gonna have to. I mean, it's like
Would you
they're gonna
want?
get
Do you want
money.
Trump to rock your
That's
shit?
the no, not necessarily. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't know. I can say that strongly.
Right.
Yeah, I
I
can
don't
say
want
that.
to either, right?
But that's the thing, man.
But you'd
That's
make a
what-
lot of money
That's
though.
what that's what the fucking financial side is so interesting to me because like the shit we think we like all big and bad about. If you knew like what shit you be actually paying for and who be servicing your shit, boy, it's crazy.
Wait, what do you mean? Like,
Or just like the involvement. Okay, you think like you'll think just the involvement of how money works. It makes everybody work together. So you can have a business owner, right? And they can stand strong against Trump. But then there'll be like a person that's in, let's say their business is doing well to where they can go public. So you can buy stock in the companies, right? So they'll be like anti-Trump or something like that, but also a Trump supporter or even Trump probably owns a stock in that company. So it's like I own a piece of you. So it's like it's so interesting when you go to the business side. So you can talk all the politics and all your beliefs all you want, but I'm still getting money off of you regardless because I can own a piece of your business anyway and all this other shit.
Right.
I can buy your shit out technically if I want to.
Yeah, if I had the money, right.
I was like, yo, this shit is wild, wild west over here.
Right. That's a great point.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking about, like, was with the growth of business and like how big and the meaning and how much can you control the meaning and for how long.
Because you're saying eventually I won't have, but can't you like rewrite can't you rebrand?
Yeah, you can rebrand.
So I'm saying like.
No, I get that. I get the branding part of it. I was just that's why I mentioned like the financial part of it, the underside of it, how it's all like, well, technically,
oh yeah, I can
still like
yeah.
the money side of it, you're still all intertwined. They still get money off it. I don't care what you say brand wise, but I understand. But
yeah, like as a business owner, I would like to hold the narrative of what the fuck is going on.
Right.
You know.
Right. The narrative.
Because at the end of the day, it could take on whatever the fuck it takes on.
Exactly.
Even though, well, no, Chris don't stand for that. And here's the thing. Here's what's cool about it. You're gonna see it, right? And you probably never seen it before. So let's think about the random person who's like, oh, that's a cool sweatshirt. Cares none. What is that, right? Most people are gonna say what, like if you don't know what it means, you're gonna say, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
The person who obviously bought it, right? The person who knows about it, what they believe, is gonna say, oh, no, it's this shit that, and then whatever they believe.
Yeah.
And then, so my point is, oh shit, what the fuck is my point? We talking about branding.
Yeah, branding and the person understanding that the brand is, or having their own vibe about the brand, their own opinion about the brand, taking on their own life.
Like so. No, the cool thing about it. Okay, thank you. So good circle back.
Got you.
So when someone says cares none, like what does that mean? And then then now that person is more exactly aware. So the fact that it kind of comes off as something different than what it actually is.
Yeah.
It's it's an interesting like what. Okay, it makes you think because cares none almost comes off like fuck it in a negative sense almost. Mm-hmm. But then anyone who has bought it and supports it knows that there's a positive in it. Right. So they would be the ones to flip that person. Mm-hmm. Like no, actually it's positive situation, and then the person goes, oh, that shit's dope. Da 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 da. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it comes off, it's kind of brilliant because you're like, it's just thought provoking. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? I don't know. And then the person who obviously bought it would know.
Absolutely.
And that's how it spreads.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, oh, that's why a clothing brand. That's why I think I found my purpose. Because I'm kind of preachy. Like, I know this about me. I enjoy inspiring. I enjoy, like, whether we're learning about women or learning about this shit or learning about anything. I like teaching about it, right? In like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then I can put it on clothing, and then they can rock it and feel and like be inspired as they rock it, and then inspire others. It felt like the perfect thing for me. I've never felt so like
involved and in tune with the community with it.
well in tune with what the fuck I should be doing, like on my purpose.
Yeah.
If like I don't feel like I feel like I have no remorse at all for like there's nothing else I'd rather do at this moment.
Mm-hmm. That feels good.
It's like because I've never felt this. Like when I was working at the restaurant, I just didn't really know. I'm like, damn, what do I want to do, kind of thing, and that feeling sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But you gotta do shit to figure that out, right? And I didn't figure it out till 36 years old. So for anyone here's a lesson in that: if you're young and you trying to figure some shit out, I didn't figure out that what the fuck am I going to do till 36 years old.
Real talk.
And some niggas might not ever figure it out, but you got to actively consider it, and
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what advice would you give to someone who doesn't know what their purpose is?
Man, I think you really just gotta step back and just like listen and just start doing shit. Like you really just gotta try everything. Just start over sometimes. Sometimes we get involved in a system of life and shit like that, but we really just gotta put our hats out and just really just try everything. Try everything that you even think is a quarter interesting to you. You know what I mean? And then it's because what you're going to do is you're going to actually involve yourself. Like, it's going to be a part of you. And what happens is, this is the thing about self-educating yourself. You have pieces of yourself in life that you're going to educate yourself on about yourself at certain points. You know what I mean? But, like, so in your early 20s, it's going to be about one thing. Mid-20s is going to be about another thing. This 20s is going to be about that. 30s is going to be about that. But all these things are a part of you. So at some point, you're going to be so well-rounded where you know exactly who you are. You know what I mean? But
especially if you're focused on it.
Especially if you're focused on understanding who you are and what interests you and being more rapid about those movements and more purposeful about those movements. Because we can't be lackadaisical with it and trying to figure it out. Right, yeah, but if you're active in trying to figure that out and you're going to bump your head and you're going to lose money sometimes and shit like that, but just stay active in that, because the more active you are, the more you're going to reach to understand who you are. You know what I'm saying? Right. Just use your time wisely and just stay fucking motivated and active. But you're going to learn yourself in that process. That's the best part I like about getting older. I love that I have so many different parts of myself that I see still starting to come together.
Yeah,
right. I used to do that and that and that.
Right.
That's how this came up. Like, oh shit, okay.
Right.
But it's because you stay on top of that shit. You stay rapid movement with it, and yeah.
I would add on to that too. Is like, and here's a big one. This is where the CARESNONE comes in. Not to keep bringing that up, but the advice I would give is you're gonna have to take some risk to do all the things you want to do.
Absolutely.
And like, for instance, like you, and which is then you moved to a different country. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a risk. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a risk for many reasons. Just mentally, and maybe to you, to me, it was like, no. But some people, that's like, they won't even leave their hometown. Mm-hmm. And you left the country for some months.
I had never even been out of the country before.
So, and it just takes like the fuck it that cares none to go do shit like that. So my argument or my thing
counts, man.
My advice would be to understand that the bullshit that you're gonna go through, whatever you the next level, the level up is right behind that bullshit. Mm-hmm. So if it don't feel good and it feels bad, it's like, oh, I want to go to Brazil, but I'm a little scared. It's like, right behind fuck it. When you just do it, it feels like amazing, right?
Oh yeah.
Was that one of the better things you've ever done in your life?
Yeah, that was one of the most pivotal things I've ever done in my life. Like early, of course, when you're doing it, I was 23 at the time. So when you're doing it, you're only the age you are. But now that I have 10 years of that pretty much behind me, it's like, damn, I was young, just fucking. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, so you got that.
Damn.
You had that young, man. Motherfuckers don't. I didn't get that till 30s.
Right. And so that's what they kind of freaks me out now, because I'm like, damn, the shit that I was doing and the shit that I did, and I just didn't give a fuck.
Now, you think there's anything to do with just who you are born as a person, or maybe
a lot of
were you raised that way?
No, I wasn't raised that way, but I was definitely given the freedom to do me. So I wouldn't say I was raised that way, because I didn't.
That's such a great quality to be raised with.
I feel like I've always been able to just be me as possible, because that's the thing. I don't feel like I'm really like too many people. Of course I'm like people in my family, but I'm kind of like me mostly,
Do your own thing.
because and that's kind of how I live my life. I do my own thing a lot of times,
Right.
You know, so because of that, I've been able to discover myself and understand myself a lot, you know, throughout the years. So I've been able to just say fuck it and go to Brazil and shit like that. And I mean, but be prepared as possible. Like I was studying the language beforehand and got the visa shit situated and saved like 10 stacks. Like I'm working at Barnes and fucking Noble. Like,
Right.
I
So
was
you
focused.
planned for it.
I planned for it. Yeah, I planned for it. But that was so pivotal to me because it let me know, like, okay, you know how to do something. If you see something,
You're gonna go. You can get
you
it done.
can do it. Like
And
you
map
can
it
do
out.
some shit. Like
Right.
you know how to do it. So nobody can tell you can't do some shit. You know how to do it because you stared at this shit on TV forever, and now you right there. Like you good.
Right. You know, I felt that, dude. It's almost crazy because you can start like you can manifest that shit with like purpose intent. So have an idea of something you envision, right? Like, damn, I kind of want to do this. Think and almost just believe like, yep, that's gonna happen. If you and I know that's hard to say at first, but the way what'll happen is if you work towards that, it will come true.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Is
It's so crazy. It's very simple.
Yeah,
That's why like those vision boards. Like you ever made a vision board?
I have.
So I have too, and I put those things. And they were hanging up on my wall a bunch of different times, and when I've gone back to some of those, I'm like, all that shit like it came true to some degree.
Right, yeah.
Like almost all of it, you know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily on your plan. It wasn't on my 1 year plan. It ain't so like fuck your plan.
Right.
But
it's your life.
But yeah, it's your life because maybe you don't need that at this time. It's so weird.
And that's what I'm saying about that's the craziest thing about life. Like at different points in your life, you will be who you are. You know what I'm saying? For you will fulfill whatever that is. It may not be all at once, the goals and shit that you put up on your vision board, but your life, who you are, is kind of creating the life that you want.
Right.
It's kind of creating the life that you want, but you just got to go
and get
understand that and go get that shit even better than what's going to happen anyway.
Right.
Like your shit is going to happen the way your shit is set up a lot of times with influences outside of that too. But like you can make that shit even more enjoyable if you'd like.
For facts. It really feels like, at least for me, I'm going to talk for me, but it feels like everything that I've ever tried to just throw some time into it had a little bit of steam, but for some reason I stopped.
Mm-hmm. Like,
for instance, I was going to be a DJ.
Yeah.
And I was actually starting to get a little buzz. Nothing crazy, but all of a sudden, like, you know, it was at the point where I could put my name on a card and people would go to the party. It was like in college.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh shit, right? I feel like if I would have, and I stopped for whatever reason. When I was a barber, I cut hair for like 2 summers, and I was starting to get a client. I had a clientele of like 7 dudes, 8 guys that would come to me every week.
Hey.
That's what I'm saying. Just out the house. So imagine if I would have kept it on, how good I'd be at that now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been several things that I've tried. It's like, imagine if you just kept it going until now. So it's like, all you got to do, I'm not going to say I'm special, just people in general, go after something, but then the consistency, again, we talk about the consistency, you just got to keep going. You got to keep going. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be moments where you're going to be like, what am I doing? Maybe should I not be doing this? Everyone has those thoughts. It's 100%.
Right.
Especially if you smoke weed. I don't know how many times I'll smoke weed and be like, who the fuck cares? You got a brain, like, shut the fuck. That's stupid. Who are you, fucking idiot? Like,
I know.
You know? And I have these thoughts.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
It's like, but no. And then it's not just me though. It's like I asked Steve, who has the vicious business, is like he still feels like, what the fuck am I doing? Mm-hmm. And he has a successful business.
Yeah, it never stops.
Everyone has those thoughts. So those thoughts are coming. But right behind those thoughts, if you keep going behind those, that's when the good shit starts popping. Right. So you just got to keep going.
Yes.
You
and
got
also to add on to that, if I could, I like what you said about the barber shop and the fucking
DJing
and the DJing, because that's kind of what I kind of understand as I get older too. Like, these things aren't done necessarily. Who's to say that the DJ shit isn't something that you're gonna incorporate later? who's to say that the barber shit, maybe not from you personally, but it could be somebody on your team or whatnot that connects you. I don't know, whatever have you. But like these things are just little pieces that you're picking up in life that aren't necessarily going by the wayside. They just need to be added on later because it wasn't maybe going to be your full package, but it's going to be part of your package because it is a part of you. That's what I'm saying. Life is gonna give you, even when you start stuff, life is gonna let you know, like, I am interested in that. It may not be the full fucking plethora of it, but I am. So let me kind of look at life like that too, and let me just but understand that your life is telling you what the fuck you like. And then grasp that shit and kind of put it all together for yourself. And that's when you understand, I feel, like kind of who you are, and you can come with a brand better that way. And just understanding the whole of what you're trying to bring to something together.
Like the whole story.
Yeah, the whole story
so far.
of you. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's just another way of like telling people not to really beat yourself up, but like kind of look at life. Like, definitely follow through with shit. Absolutely. Preach that shit always 100%.
Man, that's vicious.
Yes,
that consistency
absolutely.
shit, that's
Consistency
vicious,
that's
man.
everything. But also understand that you have a lot of different things that you can do. Like, a lot of different things that you can incorporate within your consistency. And a lot of different things that you don't necessarily have to feel bad about if you've let go before. But you can also incorporate it now. Because it's a part of you. It's always, life is telling you that's a part of you. So find a way to incorporate because that's something that you enjoy.
Right.
You know?
I actually didn't mind. But here's what's interesting. All the things that I felt like I was getting a little bit of buzz in, what do they all have in common? Creating.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
From the DJing, you creating the beats and shit, right? From the barbering, that's like an art.
Yep.
I got a high in like creating something. Even with the social media shit, I'm creating content, and with the clothes, I'm creating technically more content. I guess I don't know. Would you consider it content?
Yeah, it's a creative process.
It's a creative process, right? And I got to design. I'm thinking ideas.
Absolutely.
I have to be creating something. That's where I feel the best. I feel the most. But now knowing that, follow through on the thing, because back then I could argue that I felt really good about DJing. In that moment, I felt like I felt my passion, but I didn't have the follow through. Or when I was cutting hair for that while, or not that I didn't have the follow through. Well, yeah, because something happened that felt catastrophic at the time, and I didn't get back on the wagon. So I'll tell you exactly with the DJing what happened. I was starting to get a little bit of buzz. I was into it. I was putting the time in, just like how I do now, just a little lazier version, but the same person. I'm trying to learn this shit, and then some shit happened with the rent, and I had to sell my turntables. Now, what I know now, so what I did then is I sold the turntables because I had to get rent money, and then we paid the rent, and I never got back home. But what I know now is if you absolutely must sell the turntables, sell the turntables. But the next fucking day, you're right back, like you're right back on getting it right back.
Right.
So you got to do whatever you got to do to get those back, or find another way to do it without selling the turntables to make it the easiest way. But if that was the absolute last and only straw you had to take care of something that was vitally important, do it, because practicality. But you got to get right back on the motherfucker. You got to get back on the plan, and that's the follow through part. And that's where and life is going to keep throwing us those all the time. And then that shit, and all the people, and I've studied these motherfuckers. That don't stop. It don't stop. It gets bigger. Life's going to keep throwing that bullshit, and you have to keep overcoming it.
Always.
So here's what I've been on. Here's what I've been on lately: abundance mindset, as opposed to scarcity mindset. And I'm starting to think a lot more in abundance, as opposed to scarcity, where I'm like kind of like worried to lose this shit. It's like, bro, there's so many options. It's like, and so like if something happens, we'll find another way to do it. Okay, that sucked. We'll find the way to do it. I'm thinking in like a more like, whereas before it was like, oh, something happened. Oh, fuck, what am I going to do? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
It's a whole different mindset.
Like, just get it done.
You know, it's like, all right, it's not, and so whenever something happens, well, get it done. And I wish I knew that, you know?
That's such a good quality.
An abundance mindset.
Just follow, and that's such a follow through mindset.
Yeah,
so
follow
by
through.
any means necessary.
By any means. Discipline. And that's another thing, too.
That's an automatic discipline if you got to follow through.
Right. And here's I was talking to my grandmother last night, And I was telling her, like, man,
grams.
I used to debate, like I used to really fight wanting getting disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you kind of buck at being disciplined, especially at a young age. You're like, let me do what the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you can't get your shit together, she would ask me to take out the trash Monday, Wednesday, Friday. No, empty the litter box Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and take out the trash. It was both of them. As a grown man now, that's like, nigga, that's nothing, right? That's literally nothing. It would take seconds, you know. But when I was younger, I just could not do it just on Monday, Wednesday. That's all it was. Every now and again, I would do it, but Alex never did it. I'm sorry, Ma. But she was like, well, how the fuck did you take out the goddamn trash? I told you, right? And that's just a lack of discipline. Now it's like, oh, no, you need that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. You need to be on the ball with that stuff. No wonder I had issues later in life, because I had issues then. I just literally couldn't take out the trash. There was like not very many chores. Right. That's not that like nothing. Right. And she would be saying that too. She literally would tell me, like, and I would just be like, no, I don't want to, you know. I just didn't want to do that shit. So discipline is a motherfucking gangster.
Yeah. Were you feisty to discipline as a kid?
What do you mean?
Were you like just an active ass kid? Like, I just didn't like to be disciplined, or?
Well, yeah, definitely. You know, I didn't like getting disciplined, but no. But
not getting disciplined, like getting your ass whooped, but I like.
Oh, I didn't like that shit.
I felt like I was fairly like an obedient child. Like, I was cool with.
I got into some trouble.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. I was a really liked person. Uh-huh. So and my grandmother was telling me, so you check this out. I didn't know this story. Well, actually, I did know the story. I don't know why I said that. But here's a cool story. She tried to get me in a movie when I was younger. She thought I was going to be this kid fucking star. She saw it in me. And she got me and I saw Robert Townsend. And I remember this. And it was an audition. It was Meteor Man. Oh, remember the movie Meteor Man? Yeah. So I was auditioning for Meteor Man. And my grandmother knew. She goes, there was something about you. You're just lovable kid. I was give you a shot. And I didn't make it because I was lame. I was too shy, right? I was just too shy. But when people knew me, they were like, I like being around Chris. And so she was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I guess that's just not for him, right? But little did she know she was right, because I do like entertaining and being like, so she knew something. Right. She was right as fuck. Way beginning. And then, but she got rid of it. Like she admitted this last night. Like, oh, I just kind of thought you just, you know. And it's like, don't you realize that you were right as hell? Right. You know, and I've always
that's
nothing.
Dope to even look at you now and be like, wow, look.
Like, you was right as listen, and she's probably gonna be seeing this. And I told her this last night. I am so blessed, because I could have been that was my grandmother who adopted me, right? I could have been in a lot worse situation. So just that alone is like just a great gift that she got me out of a situation that could have been a lot worse, and raised me in good schools in a good area. Right. Sacrificed her own life. She was telling me, yeah, like. And mind you, I'm not her child. I'm her grandkid.
Yeah, that's a whole nother generation worth.
And she was like, you know, and sometimes she'd be trying to talk to dudes, and I was just in the way, and it wasn't her kid, you know. It was her kid's kid. But she was like, no, you know. So that's a blessing in itself. So you already MVP. Yeah, and then she did that, if I think I can't say I can thing. Because now, again, I don't think anything. I believe I can accomplish anything, and it like pinpoints to that fucking day. Like, that woman really, she did a number on me.
She did her duties as your genealogy pool, boy. She gave you some jewels.
Yeah, and she's just like me. I was like, she's just like, she be on YouTube. I'm just like her. Excuse me. Yeah. But it's just crazy that she implemented who she was onto me. Yeah. And I became like just a smaller, younger version of her.
Yep, that's how I am with my mom.
And probably a little bit more advanced, only because that's what it should happen.
Yeah, that's what should happen.
It's just like if I was to have a kid, he should be a better version of me.
Right. Oh yeah, I sit back and think about that stuff all the time with my mom. I'm like, man, the jewels that you dropped on me, you gave me some good ones. You gave me some really good ones, some really plush ones, like the ones that you gave me, even the literacy part on the finance side, and just the way looking at stuff. I was like, that's a really good gem to drop into your child for them to pass on to the next ones. You know what I mean?
Because all you're going to do is advance it even further.
I'm just going to advance it and keep it growing as technology grows. And I'm so, you know, structure with it, and that's all we talk about. And oh my God, it's so.
And the cool thing about so the lady who raised me, she's 70, she's still young. She still kind of got it going for 70, but she's just the technology don't hit. I feel like your mom's still deep.
Oh yeah,
she's balls deep into the technology.
Oh yeah, she's still in it. Well, my mama, she ain't 70, so
that's what I'm saying. So like my grandmother, as much as she's like me, the reason why I'm a little bit more advanced than her, only because of the technology part.
Right.
Because I'll be able to do more things with technological, but as far as just wanting to learn and grow and shit, she's above me. You know?
Yeah, that's dope.
It was really nice seeing her yesterday, man.
That's dope, man. Yeah, I just talked to my grandmother actually who was also turning 70 this month. I talked to her for about 4 hours the other day.
Good ass talk.
That's one of my favorite.
You gonna get me in trouble, man.
The
Eric saying,
we be back and forth. Just the generational gap stuff would be so cool to intersect, man.
Let me ask you this about being older. What do you think? Would you say regret is the worst thing to have on your deathbed?
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty fucked up.
Right? That sounds awful.
Of not doing something.
Right? Of regret of like, because like let's say you miss somebody, like I regret someone was gone. But I feel like when you fuck up and you don't try something that you should have.
That you really, really wanted,
Yeah, or
That's why I say just try everything, bro. You just gotta.
Could you imagine being on my deathbed and just being like, damn, I only got 20 minutes to live and I never got to try that thing.
Yeah.
I was listening to Gary Vee and he said, you want to learn something about life, go to old folks' homes and just talk to them. Just like how you just talking to an older person, and just talk to them about, and they going to give you some fucking wisdom because they fucking lived it.
They got a whole life.
You ever looked up like little quizzes, advice from 100-year-old?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Those things are kind of dope.
All the time.
Because there's some great fucking pieces of advice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I respect it.
As a matter of fact, I want to kind of look at that shit right now. Top 100 pieces of advice from older people.
Here are some results from a search.
All right, here we go. 100 pieces of advice from 100-year-olds. There you go, perfect. I'll read the first couple. Because I get off on somebody else already has this knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
So why not listen to the people who've been there?
I'm all about that. I'm not trying to try too hard. You got the info? Let me get it.
So I'm going to just read the first five. I'll read the first five.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, don't look at the calendar. Just keep celebrating every day. It seems like better advice.
Mm-hmm.
Stop looking at the time and just say, I mean, that's great advice. See?
Live.
The first one's kind of vicious. Damn, that's vicious. Number 2, invest in quality pieces. They never go out of style.
Okay.
Break that one down.
I can take that a lot of ways.
Invest in quality pieces. They never go out of style.
Right. I can take that a lot of ways.
Give me one way.
Just like, I feel like that's kind of a play on just make sound investments in life. Don't fuck off your values, your valuables, your shits. Your life your life is your biggest asset. So that's kind of how I take it from an older person. Like, don't fuck off your shits. Make sure your life is good.
Yeah,
stable.
because investing in yourself. Is there anything better than investing in yourself? Like that's probably the best investment is yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whether it be a skill, your health.
Absolutely, it's the most lucrative if you want to, however you want to use that word, but it's the most lucrative
By far.
Yeah.
If you improve thyself, there's nothing better on
what
earth.
else can you improve more than thyself that would be better?
Like for instance, if you got $100 and you would be better served as opposed to just betting that $100 or using that $100 to get a trade to learn something to do more. For instance, it's kind of like let me rephrase that. Don't give a man if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man how to fish, he eats forever.
For a lifetime.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You have to invest in yourself to get more ways to figure shit out.
Right.
Whereas if you just
can't just go, if you can't skip that process.
Yeah, you have to go through it.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Number 3, I'll make myself go out every day, Even if it's only to walk around the block, the key to staying young is to keep moving.
That's a dope one. I like that.
Ooh.
I like that because I do have a couple days where it's like in the house like a mouse. So
and mind you, this is from 100-year-olds.
Yeah, that's
right. This right.
I respect the shit out of it.
Right.
You got that age on you. I just
yeah,
feel
this
like I
ain't
can't tell you shit.
This ain't some motherfucker who 50.
All the shit I've ever talked in life, I can't say shit to a motherfucker
that just been there, right?
What can I say to you? Besides, you gonna say some racist shit, bro. I'm gonna tell you about yourself then.
Or technology.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up on that one, but
yeah, like ma, like I mean, like ma, like she, you know what she told? So her doorbell wasn't working at the house, so she goes, she texted, she goes, make sure you call me when you get here. The doorbell don't work, and don't just ring the doorbell. And I'm like, okay, but ma, don't you realize don't nobody ring the doorbell like that? Don't nobody do that no more. Like everyone, hey, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Or and she was like, well, and she just signed old school with it.
Yeah. Oh,
that's funny.
Old school,
great
boy.
thought. But yeah, old motherfuckers know what's up, man.
They do.
The next one. Exercise, to me, is totally unnecessary. I think it's mostly overrated.
Oh, okay.
Especially, that's funny. That's from someone who's over 100.
You must have a going out ass lifestyle, though. You going out every day. You got to get some form of movement.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's
Hold
a good
on
point.
now. You ain't just a slob.
The use of vitamins, forget it. And I don't encourage going to a lot of doctors either.
Cares does.
Yeah, he said cares does. Now, mind you, that nigga lasted to 100. So, right? So it's like, well, that motherfucker got lucky. Fall in love, get married, sex is to be encouraged. That's good. Even if you feel hatred, keep it to yourself. Don't hurt other people for any reason. I fucks with that. Don't ever give up on love. Nobody else controls you. I like that one.
You said I like that
I
one.
love that one.
He skipped the don't give up on love, but he said I like that nobody controls you. He read right past that shit.
Wait, it's actually funny.
Ooh, I like that shit.
It actually worked perfect that I literally didn't even read it.
You ain't shit.
I looked at it and it's like it didn't exist. Like really, the very next one, I'm like, oh yeah, I like nobody controls me, man. They don't love control me. That was funny.
Oh man,
that says a lot about where my mind's at. Oh shit, make time to cry.
I do that.
Yeah, it's just something you gotta let go.
Get in my music.
Travel while you're young and able. Hey, don't worry about the money. Just make it work. Experience is far more valuable than money will ever be. Now that's some fucking advice. Mm-hmm. Don't compare. You'll never be happy with your life. The grass is always greener. That's a fucking good one too.
That's a gem. Don't compare. I like that one. That's probably my favorite one so far.
If you are embarrassed to be dating someone, you should not be dating them. That's good advice.
Wonderful.
Do one thing each day that is just for you. Oh, hell yeah. I'm totally on board for that. I do almost everything just for me. If I'm being honest.
No love.
Don't be a cheapskate. Yeah, that's a tip. Like,
yeah, that's just.
You can be smart and listen. You can be overboard on not being a cheapskate. You know, just not being practical. Like I know one of my problems is I tip way bigger than what my fucking.
I had to get out of that. I had to wean myself out of that.
Because that's especially in what we did.
Yeah.
And then what makes it even more tough for me personally is that I'm black.
Right.
So then I already know what the stigma is. So I kind of want to help beat that stigma. But it's like, nigga, that's cool.
Right. No,
what the fuck you giving 50 on 100 for?
I used to get emails all the time from my banks and shit, from my credit card company, like, did you mean to tip 50%?
Like, they're like, nigga, don't you know you're black? It's like, nigga, this is 400% more than the average black tip. This is a full 20%.
Oh, man. This is a full 20%.
400% more than the average black tip. The average black tip got to be like 8%.
You think so?
What would you think?
I was my original thought was 15. Am I high? Am I too high for that?
Hell yeah, you too
15?
high. 15?
Come on now, Dad.
I'll give you 13.
13?
All
right, let's
15?
go 13. Let's go 13.
I'll give you 14 just to be nice. But I think
I know I'm being nice on 15. But I feel like I gotta at least start with 15, then work my way down.
Okay, so 15 is definitely a really nice.
Yes.
That's you being real nice.
Yeah. Absolutely nice.
It's got to be more like 12, 13.
Yeah, it got to be. You're right. But I'm glad I started off because you started off with 8. So if I started off at 7,
2%,
right?
So that's a piece of good one.
But that was pretty cool though.
Don't be a cheapskate. Forgive. Yeah, that's a big one. Forgive's a big one, man. Like personally, this is a great idea too.
Yeah, for sure.
Forgive's a big one for me because I used to hold grudges real bad, and not that long ago. But that's like got to be some of the dumbest shit on earth. As far as really if you're trying to really embrace this world and get the best from it, I personally believe in energies and vibes and keeping those bridges not intact. And I fucked off. Thank God I just knew a lot of people, but I fucked off a lot of bridges, whether it was my fault or not. I just burned them, and I just feel like that doesn't help you advance in life. And you're harboring energy that person probably don't even care. They might care. They don't care. Most likely they're not really because they care about their own fucking life. So I would say definitely forgive. Mm-hmm. And I know that shit's easier said than done. So you think somebody did you bogus, but try to be whatever you can to say, man, fuck it, man. People just out here living their best life, right or wrong.
Yeah, and that's what's happening though. People just trying to figure this shit out on their own, and sometimes you're the curveball. Or they're the curveball in your shit, and
right, like for instance, if someone
in the world though,
right, like if, like someone like talk shit to you or something, or no, like steals from you. They live their situation was upbringing like that where they thought that was okay. So I wouldn't say continue to be friends with them, but I would say like I would be more forgiving of that person in the long run because it's like at the end of the day, niggas is only for whatever reason where we think together is not the same, but that doesn't mean that like he doesn't have some value. He might not have no value as my friend in my life, but as a human being, I could just be like.
And that's what you mean. I'm not gonna put that energy into it. Like I understand he has value as a person, but I just don't have. I'm not gonna put the energy into him as a friend or something like that. That's all.
Right.
And that's when you can just like let it go, which is.
I could just let it go, but that don't even mean I gotta say fuck like.
Right. It's
just
like
say,
that. That's just
cool.
not my. I'm just not gonna put my energy in that. That's not where my energy lies best.
Definitely forgive. That's a good one.
That's a good part of forgiveness.
Ooh, here's a good one. Nigga. Find your passion and live it.
You know that paper, my passion.
That's probably the best. That's my favorite one so far.
Nah, that's a good one. That's literally what we're doing.
That's what the whole podcast has been about.
Yeah.
It's your fucking passion and then doing it. Find your passion and live it.
That's literally what it is. Yeah.
That's some phenomenal advice from a 100-year-old. Most time, things will figure themselves out. I believe in this shit too.
They will.
That's why you gotta just say fuck it. Cares none.
They will, and you just gotta know that and just keep going hard. That shit will figure itself out. You will be who you are. You just gotta be the
this is
elevated
interesting.
version of yourself.
Choose the right parents. What do you think that means?
Mentors, probably.
Mentors?
Idols, or I don't want to say idols, but
I think mentors is great.
Yeah, mentors.
That's interesting. Choose the right parents. It has to be that, right?
Meaning we all need some guidance. So don't think you are the parent all the time. Everybody needs a parent.
Good point. Have a pet. Life gets lonely sometimes. Pets are reminders of how we're all living things.
That's dope.
Yeah, you know what? I never got my own pet.
I was never too good with pets. My pets always died and shit. Fish and shit like that.
Dog, the elephant died once.
I wouldn't mind a cat. I was thinking about bird at one point.
I definitely want to. I just, I'm just on my purpose, and I don't want anything to get in the way of me doing what I want to do. And it's a responsibility.
Yeah, and
a cat's not so bad.
Cats are lovely because they just fuck with themselves.
I know but dogs love a nigga.
You gotta suck a dog's whole dick.
No, but they suck yours though, proverbially. No, yeah, I'm about to get canceled for this shit. They got my dog sucking my dick. No, I'm sucking the red rocket.
Right. Oh no.
That's how you suck a red rocket. No, but I'm really good with other people's pets.
Yeah.
Like but I never like really gave a fuck about having my own until kind of recently, because I'm like, damn, some of these, you know, especially when you work from home, a little pet would be kind of dope, like a little, what a little, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of fuck with that a little bit. I've been considering a little pet.
A pillow pet.
Yeah, like a little. I don't want no big ass. What the Saint Bernards?
You wanna?
No, what's them big giant ass dogs?
Yeah.
They're like 6'10" or some shit.
Greyhounds and shit. Saint Bernards. Yeah.
I think it's Saint Bernard, right? Like the motherfucker look you eye to eye.
Yeah,
Hey, what's up, nigga? What the fuck you looking at?
Yeah. Throw the ball in.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm not saying you have to practice one religion or another, or not practice one religion or another. I'm just saying that you should figure out what you believe in and live it completely. We talked about that last podcast.
Yes, we did.
Beliefs.
Yes, we did. Beliefs. It's all. We all have the right to believe, y'all. So just believe whatever the fuck you want to believe, but don't fuck with nobody.
Learn to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because sometimes you get stuck in your own.
Not adapting is kind of dangerous shit.
It's like you almost constantly have to adapt.
You do.
Like it don't
That's what
stop.
I'm saying. You have to adapt. That's why it's. I know. That's what I'm saying. When you get to a certain age, man. My great grandfather lived to like 93, and I always think about it, man. I wonder just how the world looked to him as a person born in the 1920s. How much shit you actually that's in this world that you just don't know. You like, I don't have no idea what the fuck this is about. You know what I mean? Because there's so much with people that age, like you can only keep up so much. But as you keep getting older and shit,
Well, who's the oldest motherfucker out right now?
Probably like 110-year-old.
Like it's
shit.
a pair of J's. Who's the oldest motherfucker out? Right. I feel like, so they was around in the 20s.
What, the 100-year-olds?
Yeah, 110.
Yeah. My great grandfather was 93. He died he was born in 1926. So like they probably like literally 1920.
Damn.
Yeah.
Imagine being like, the fuck is all this crazy shit?
Yeah,
Or do you think it
just
don't
thinking
feel that
like-
way because it grew with you too, though?
Well, I'm talking about even what you understand. Like I don't know. I just think it's a mindset that we really can't understand too tough until you get that age. I feel like they got a whole different way of looking at the world.
Yeah, they probably be like, nigga.
I feel like
nigga, ain't nobody got time for all that.
Right. You know how much shit they don't got time for? Cause they
literally don't have time. Like I have no time, nigga. Like you like, what is you worried about, nigga? You have 38 minutes left.
Right. I ain't about to do all this. No, bro.
I mean, that brings like when somebody says I ain't got the time. Them niggas mean it.
That's where that shit came from, bro.
They created that shit. They was the first ones to say it. They
was like, I ain't got the time for this
ain't got the
shit.
time for that shit.
Yeah.
No, but now that's great advice. You know what? If I was 100, hey, don't have the time for that shit. That's what I would say. Don't have the time.
Cares none and don't have the time.
Cares none and please don't have the time. Keep going and never give up.
All right.
Make yourself walk, which kind of like reminds me of the other one. I'll just do a couple more. I drink the faucet water.
Okay.
It's interesting.
I don't know about that one. I don't trust old people and old water systems.
I drink the faucet water.
I'm gonna have to argue with Gramps on that one.
What if it's a hidden meaning?
Okay.
I'm trying to break it down. I don't know.
Okay.
What if he means don't be too don't be too bougie? Like you think like nigga, don't just get the Benz, nigga, get the Toyota, nigga.
I drink faucet. Okay, I get that.
Or
that's a good one.
Or he could be saying, nigga, I'm 100 years old and I drink faucet water. Don't buy bottled water. You know,
right?
Because I know a lot of people like bottled water feels different.
Yeah, true that.
But you feel like you're doing a better thing, and this nigga's like, I'm 100 years old. I eat bacon all day.
Yeah, that's something like take a shot every day type of shit. I've seen those before.
I just saying that can go different ways. Don't just die all because you want to. I like how they put that. Don't just die all because you want to. What do you think that means? Do you think it means like
die all?
Don't just die all because you want to. So it's kind of like
don't die all because you want to. Don't die.
So to me, it's like don't want to die. He said like live your life, like live it, enjoy it as much as you absolutely can.
Yeah, it's only one of these.
Because I know a lot.
as far
Because
as we know.
especially nowadays with the social media age and the young cats is depressed.
Yeah.
You hear it in the music and shit.
Yeah.
I don't have no friends. I don't have no friends. What the shit? I'm like, this nigga talking about killing himself. I'm like, well, not Kodak Black, the other name. What's his name? All my friends are dead now. All my
Yeah,
friends
Uzi.
are dead. Lil Uzi Vert. Half his shit is like really sad.
Oh yeah.
And XXX, his shit was the most sad shit of all. He literally had a song called Sad. He did. I swear to God. It was like his number one hit. It's called Sad. I know it's crazy, but
Stupid.
these motherfuckers is sad out here.
Yeah,
Man.
for sure.
These motherfuckers need a hug.
Niggas need a hug or two.
Do you think that's social media?
Man, I mean, I think, of course, social media is gonna do its thing. We can't ever say that like social media is not a factor in people's decisions and doing shit. That's all. I've been hearing the same stuff since I was a child with the media and all this other stuff. I'm pretty sure our parents and their parents have been hearing the same shit. So we can't say it's not a factor. However, I do understand the culture part of it as well. And it came from like the whole Wayne era when he was doing like the whole hip hop era of like drug and rock star and tatted faces and all this other shit.
So you mean specifically because of the music?
Well, I mean that aspect of it because you mentioned music artists.
Right.
So within the music, that was kind of what was popping during that time with the whole lean era. That's kind of why they're into that type of stuff. So on the cultural side of things, that's kind of where the influence is coming from, as far as I can see. But also, like, there's a lot of music that's geared towards it, but that doesn't. I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of depressed kids out there, because there are a lot of depressed kids who actually relate to the music because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also people who view it and they're good too. You know what I mean? Whereas it is a side to kids, whereas it's just entertainment too. So I wanted to make sure that it was.
Yeah, because I listen to that shit and I'm not depressed.
Exactly. But so I think it's not necessarily making them become depressed, but I think.
I mean, but the suicide rate has gone
bringing
up.
out the depression, like those who have that is bringing out certain things and whatnot too.
That's a good point.
I think it's just more so bringing awareness to anything. Just as anything with music does, it brings awareness. Like, you can't be. I hate when the media always like chastises the artist on this type of shit, because it's like you're just saying what people are going through. No matter what, you're a human, so you can't talk about anything besides being a human and that experience. So if that's what's on your mind right now, somebody else is going through that shit. So if you got a problem with it, talk to the fucking law.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but on the cultural influence side, like it's bigger than just that. Like it's a whole system to this shit. I can go on and on about.
Yeah, I'm kind of like confused, because we're definitely going into a society that's like with this cancer culture thing, right? And how you can't say, like, you ever watch a movie from like 10 years ago?
Oh yeah,
and you're like,
all the time, and
just,
it's so crazy.
And you're like, damn, that those jokes probably wouldn't fly right now.
Even 10 years ago, bro. It's crazy.
It's just, so obviously it's only getting more and more and more like that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think the world's changing to that? Because it's right? Like, what is the reason? Like, I'm just.
Why do you think it's changing to what? To more
it seems
censorship?
Is it censorship, or is it more like you just know what not to do? Like,
I think it's because we're all we're all starting to get to know each other, like I kind of always mention, and we have to respect each other. The more you see people, the more globally you have to start respecting people's opinions and frustrations and everything like that. So I that's the way I always see this time in history. Is just like this big ass crossroads that's gonna happen for a couple 100 years. It's just a big ass crossroads where motherfuckers finally gotta respect somebody, because everybody sees everybody. So everything's out in the open, and we got such this culture that we created where everything is such right away, and we got a culture around, we're ready for some shit to happen. We want you to say some disrespectful shit. We want you to fuck up. Like, that's crazy. People get off on even that part. That's entertainment for people. So it's a whole industry within that. So I just think this is a time where we're really just starting to have to figure out how do we see each other? You know, we were young in the whole no homo era where it was crazy. Like, everything was, that's gay and this is that. Of course, that shit ain't gonna fly right now. You know what I mean? And that's within our childhood. Right. You know? Right. So I just think we're just starting. But now you fast forward that to our time now. What has passed since then? Like, gay rights. You can legally become married now, and there's so many things that the movement has gone so far. So those things wouldn't fly in this era. So it's just more awareness and more people being heard and having to be respected. That it seems like this time in history is just full of that shit because this is.
Now let me ask you this though: what about the people who when it comes to jokes?
That's an interesting industry.
When it comes to jokes, because a lot of times laughter comes out of tragedy.
Yep.
Right. So
tragic truth.
Right. So all my little jokes that I make online come from some kind of most of it some fucked up. Even if it's very small, it's always a issue.
Mm-hmm.
So you hit at it. So when it comes to comedians, how do you feel about the fact that we almost have to toy that line?
Yeah, they do.
So like comedians are the ones keeping this shit alive, especially with the censorship shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because because I've made some jokes that I realize that some people ain't gonna like the jokes,
Right.
But my way of getting around it is making jokes about everybody, including myself, the most.
Mm-hmm.
And it's blacks and myself get my jokes the most.
Yeah.
But I get everybody a little, have a little fun with it. But some shit you can't say.
Yeah. That's such an interesting industry in and of itself as far as having that rule to have to think about, and specifically within their art. You know what I mean? Because we crack jokes and we crack jokes all the time about different things, but it's like when you're really using this as your art form to the world, you know what I mean? You really got to be cognizant about what you're saying and whatnot too, and still be funny on it, and appeal to everybody as well too, or whoever you want to appeal to. But yeah, that's an interesting industry.
Yeah, comedy.
That's an interesting industry that with the
comedy.
With that alongside the industry of or just the whole cancel culture. I guess you
cancel
could say.
culture. Yeah. No, and I've heard this somewhere before. You can say offensive shit as long as it's funnier than it is offensive.
Mm-hmm. I like that rule of thumb.
So, because you could tell, like, okay, you're not even being funny; you're just trying to be hurtful.
Yeah.
Versus you're making a funny joke.
You can be real. I've seen it done really, really nicely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Dave Chappelle will make them kind of jokes great.
Yeah. Well, he just makes anything.
Yeah, because he's the GOAT. But my point, you know what I'm saying? So you can get away with jokes. But the thing is like, damn, I can't say what the fuck I want no more.
Mm-hmm. That could be part of the joke, though. You can utilize.
But I know some people. But it's like, well, here's the thing. It's like, no, you can still say what the fuck you want. Mm-hmm. You just have to deal with the ramifications of being part of the society.
So I wonder this, because you know how shit really doesn't blow up until the mass popular culture blows it up. Really, I wonder if not to get all crazy and whatnot, but as far as like ownership of the whole. My rights as far as what I can say, and not even necessarily cancel culture, because I feel like that came from a different area as far as like the whole women's rights. And
Weinstein and shit.
So I don't want to bring it necessarily into that, but I'm just talking about people like, let's say you can't say anything about your opinion about anything as far as politics or something like that goes. I wonder where that's coming from and why that's so big. And like, there's always opinions, and opinions are accepted all the time. So why is it this whole movement of that type of cancel culture? Is there something bigger behind that, you think?
As far as
as far as who's saying the cancel culture shit the most?
Like the ideologies of the left and the right?
Yeah. That's
a great goddamn question.
Like, who is, because like when I don't know, I just feel like cancel culture is something that's very, very new on that spectrum.
Yeah, it's like, because now here's the thing, it's like
kind of moving
you could get in
else.
trouble, right? But so like, what is it? That's kind of what I was like. So what is it? The world going to? That was kind of the question I was asking a little bit ago. It's going towards something to like it feels like eventually nothing, or not nothing.
I see what you mean.
So like there's
where the fuck is it?
Like where are we going?
Yeah.
And like won't like are like can you not say shit? Here's the thing: you can say whatever the fuck you want, but you just can't say shit on people's platforms. Because they have their rules. At the end of the day, is Instagram. This is what they deem their fucking company.
Right.
The problem is people get mad at that because they are so big, but you signed in the dotted line when you signed up for the terms and conditions that these are our rules. You have to follow them.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, maybe it's something like this then, Chris. Maybe since we've been talking about business all day. So we both know that the business is a company. So let's say Nike. Okay, Nike's a person, I should say. Excuse me. So let's say Nike stands for something with Colin Kaepernick, and his investors doesn't like that. His shareholders don't like that, and they draw out and shit like that. So he's responsible. He has to be, as a company or as a person, responsible for, okay, am I going to continue this relationship with Colin Kaepernick, or am I going to go with my shareholders and shit like that? So it's like a tug and pull. So maybe it's like going to a point where these companies have to actually start being responsible. They have to start being more responsible because they are people they are the richest people on this earth. If you want to get technical, companies are, businesses are. So you have to be morally responsible in this shit too. So you have to, like, we hold a lot of, even this past year, a lot of the shit that happened even with George Floyd, we went towards the pockets of these companies, and why aren't these companies, they're making monies off of blacks, but they aren't, contributing to this. So I think it's like, and it was a holding people accountable. Who wasn't putting the Black Lives Matter stuff up? What company did do this?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like it's getting to a point with like trying to figure that part out, like trying to make them more responsible. It seems like maybe it's going in that direction because that's what seems like most highlighted.
Yeah, the company's doing.
Yeah,
the right
the company's
thing.
Having like we look for the companies like, oh, you didn't say that shit. Why you didn't? Okay, until we see your letter, or did you force it, or whatever have you.
Right.
But that's why I wanted to mention earlier, on the back end of things, a lot of times these companies still get money off of you anyway. On the financial side of shit, like they can even come out with a statement and still be like, okay, whatever, I'm still going to get the shareholders, going to get this, and I own this piece of your shit. So it's an interesting game, but I mean, I think it's going to get to at least social era of having them be more held more responsible, because before it's just like they're untouchable. We don't give a, like, they make money, they don't have to be involved in the people shit. Like we don't.
Like the people have a voice now more.
Right, the people.
I feel like the people can do, and I think that's because of the internet.
Yeah. Yes. Technology.
Because now you can tell that 40,000 people have a problem with that.
And
whereas
they buy your products, and if they say 40, oh my God, how heavy is that? You got Facebook has 1 billion people or something like that. They got more people than most countries on Facebook.
Right.
If Facebook did some sour shit, and they had everybody delete their shit, or even half of their people, they are completely out of business. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's like, these companies are huge. They have huge influence on that cultural, social side of things. Right. So now it's just the people are understanding their power within that, and their power to socialize because of social media. Like, you really can get a gang of people to believe in some shit and go for an attack. You
ever heard of something called the Facebook Pixel?
No.
So check this out. This shit is outstanding. And I gotta tell you about this. So it's an extension you put on your website, owned by Facebook, where it like calculates all the activity on your site. Mm-hmm. It's free. Facebook gathers the information. Now you don't know about the specific person, but you know about the digital version of this person. And this person was on this part for this minute. This person put something into the cart. This person bought something. And then you get all this information. And then you can make an ad on Facebook and Instagram that uses that information, and you can target that information, right? Mm-hmm. Which is brilliant. It's because you can turn your leads into hot leads. So like now, so the person who was really close to buying it but didn't, now they're the ones seeing the ad more. Because at the end of the day, you just got to see it to make the decision. You know what? Let me go ahead and do it. And here's the crazy part. So the Facebook Pixel, you can do what's called a lookalike group. And the lookalike group, so let's say you bought something. Facebook, because it has all the information on everybody, the algorithm, they can get someone who's like 95% like De'Eric or whatever their number they deem. Like, this person's very similar. He has a similar interest, Target those people. So then when they see the ad, they would be more likely to like this ad because they're more like you. So for instance, if it was you and you saw something with an ape on it. Right. I would be more likely. You'd be more likely to click on it and shit like that. And especially if you kept seeing like, oh, what is this? I am into apes and shit. Let me. And that's how that shit works. Yeah. So it's like. It's a different structure to build community building. That's wow. But think about how powerful that is. That's a powerful tool. That's the algorithm huge is a powerful tap in, man. That's that's probably the next internet shit. Algorithm is all tied in, but that's some shit. And here's the cool thing: you can kind of morally feel better for me personally, because I know that I'll be putting my products in front of people that I want kind of having, and that people that would be more inclined to. So for instance, you get to put what kind of people you're looking for when you're trying to get the audience of who you want to show your ad to. And you can be like, I want a person who's inspired, a person who likes to be in this activity, that does this, and you get all these different traits, right? And then they calculate the number and they say, okay, this person would be more likely like this person would be more likely. And I just think it's crazy that they have that much information on us that is to the T, and that you can use that. And there's a reason why Nike and them spend billions and billions and billions of dollars of doing that. Is just people just got to see it.
Yeah.
And they got to keep seeing it. Why do you think that Nike, why do they keep spending money on that? Because as soon as Nike stops spending money, then all of a sudden you'd be like, damn, whatever happened to Nike?
Whatever happened to Nike? And that's just how it works.
Right. So I get why you advertise and market. I'm like, oh, and it just
super important.
Whew, it's
and it's a go too. You got to keep going with it.
You got to keep moving the goalpost, right? Or you got to keep going forward, and then you got to keep working on the brand side. So you got to keep learning ways to show your shit to everybody while maintaining what the brand is about.
Yeah, and man, it gets, and then the business starts growing, and it naturally tells you how to spread your shit.
Right, naturally by trial and error, learning shit, you know,
just keeping up with the branding and shit like that, but still developing the actual skill on that side of it too.
All right, this is what we're gonna do. And as always, CARESNONE, nigga.